What's happening? Hey, this is Business Pants.
Come on, up the
So,
energy. It's Thursday.
I've been waiting for 46 minutes, so it's very somber. I'm going to start my clock. Hey, everybody, this is Business Pants. This is Free Flow Media. I'm Damian Ross. That's Matt Mascardi. This is a
Heyo.
COVID-19 free zone, I think. Uh,
Can't promise that I don't have it.
now, I think it's been lingering in my house all winter. This is Thursday. It's a big bag of Biz Nuggets day. Although we have some other things coming this week, but Matt will talk about that later. March 12th, 2020, the stock market is going haywire. Anything to say, Matt, before I just dive into my big bag of biz nuggets?
I have a fake stat of the week for you at the end, but let's
Oh,
just
okay.
let's dive in and then we'll do that at the end.
So I don't get that fun frenzied music to keep me going.
No, I'm gonna just do this. Hit it.
Okay. You're gonna do that every time you like what I say? Is that what
I'm
you
gonna
said?
do that every time it's mildly irritating.
Okay. Here we go. Biz nuggets, big bag of biz nuggets, business pants. Let's start with our favorite topic, COVID-19 coronavirus. The S&P 500 halted trading again this morning due to a 15-minute circuit breaker. Cheaters. I think it's yeah, I hate that. It's so cheating. Let it fall. Let it go up. Who cares? Corporate socialism. Up next, March Madness basketball games will be played without fans. I know. It sounds weird, right? But imagine it the other way around. Fans, but no players, right? So coronavirus isn't so crazy after all, is it, Matt?
That would be much weirder. Also worth saying that March Sadness will also be played if this doesn't count as March Sadness. Spoiler alert, tomorrow. Tomorrow we are going to release a podcast with our seeding for the March Sadness bracket of 2020. And just to give you a taste of what that's going to be like, the number one seed in the Apology Tour division has to be Boeing, right? It has to be Boeing.
I mean, since we can't pick Trump, so yeah, I guess it's got to be Boeing.
So stay tuned for that because we are going to the game is very very simple. We have some stats. There's going to be winners, and uh,
Brackets,
and there will be a bracket available on our
betting.
website. If you want to fill out a bracket, have your office fill out which company will win the Sadness Award at the end, the Sadness Championship on April 6th. So stay tuned for that.
I'm gonna keep talking. Big bag of biz nuggets. I didn't like being interrupted there. It felt demoralizing, emasculating. Tom Hanks, Rita Wilson test positive for coronavirus, so it's real now, Matt. Celebrities validate us. The NBA suspends its season indefinitely after Utah Jazz player tests positive for coronavirus. He's from France, so maybe that's why Trump banned travel from Europe. Silver lining: hundreds of new millionaires will be on their couches spending money online, Matt.
How is that a silver lining?
Well, that's good for the economy. They're going to be buying a bunch of bullshit because they're going to be bored.
I guess, or playing Fortnite.
Uh, Trump suspends travel from Europe for 30 days as part of a response to the foreign coronavirus. He called it a foreign coronavirus. So I'm guessing it has the world's smallest passport, right?
I
Microscopic?
is that true?
Yes.
Just a quick reality check for that,
Uh huh.
because Germany actually has the lowest fatality rate for coronavirus. So the lowest fatality rate in the world, with more where there's more than like 2,000 cases, is coming from Europe, the place we just banned travel from, and they actually conduct coronavirus tests in Europe. It's a novel thing. It's this new thing that they're doing everywhere else. So I'm wondering when you think Trump is going to ban travel like out of the US because we're the ones who are all infected. Like does
Does
that
that does
does that
that include Alaska and Hawaii?
I well if it I hopefully includes Hawaii because my wife still thinks we're going. So
Let me just add here that Trump sounds more and more like Zuckerberg every day because he banned all travel from Europe, but at the very end he stuck in that it's okay for the United Kingdom.
well they're not part of
Who,
Europe anymore.
and Ireland. So they have more test cases They have more positive than other countries in Europe, and yet they're not part of the ban. So there you go, Zuck.
I
Zuck
would, you
wins.
know what I think? Know who I think wins at all this?
Me,
Ryanair, because they were offering cheap flights to Italy back when
20%
coronavirus
off. Yeah. All right.
five
You're
euros
slowing down
off.
my biz nuggets. Get out of my way. Coronavirus quarantines could be the perfect backdrop for HBO Max, Peacock, and QB to join the streaming wars, right? Because sitting on your fat lazy ass and streaming shit was never a thing.
Still not.
Starbucks will offer catastrophe pay of up to 14 days to baristas exposed to the coronavirus. So catastrophe pay is up to 14 days. That sounds generous. All right, it's populist math time, Matt.
Oh, whoa! Ding
Ring the
ding.
bell. According to Glassdoor, the average Starbucks barista pay is $10 an hour.
Okay.
So catastrophe for a 40-hour work week at Starbucks overall will be a total of $800 or the equivalent of 138 venti skinny peppermint mochas. So there you go, Starbucks workers. You're officially screwed.
Can I ask what else qualifies as a catastrophe? Like, if you're a barista, can you get paid because of the North Pacific Island garbage patch?
No,
Or is it a catastrophe that my wife still hasn't watched The Wire from beginning to end?
no.
I can't get paid for that?
Actually,
What country do I live in?
I was just talking with a friend last night after the NBA got canceled, and I decided to start watching The Wire because I don't have any more basketball. Moving on. Twitter is forcing its 4,900 employees to work from home. This just in from Elliott Management and Scott Galloway. Unless that home is in Africa.
Oh, wah wah.
Chinese food delivery giant offers paper shield to diners to protect them against coronavirus. I don't. Paper? Really? That's it?
That's all it takes.
Paper? Amazon has established the Amazon Relief Fund with an initial $25 million to support delivery service partners, flex workers, and seasonal employees experiencing financial stress due to the virus. All right, it's populist math time, Matt.
Oh, another bell ringing occasion.
I'm going to take a second to remind you about Uncle Jeff Bezos' net worth. That's $116.4 billion.
That's it?
So, if the Amazon Relief Fund were to come out of his pocket, which it's not actually, but if it were to be coming out of his pocket, then his net worth would be reduced to $116.375 billion. All right, I'm going to do it. Here's some more populist math. So the equivalent for a regular person here is the median net worth in the U.S. is $97,000. So that would be the equivalent of an average median U.S. worker donating $20.90. So there you go.
Not insignificant. Not
Uncle Uncle Jeff is rich. That's what I'm trying to get at here.
but worth stating though that Bezos did buy a house in LA for 125 million. So maybe
Ooh.
everyone
Ouch.
when their cat pay or catastrophe pay at Starbucks runs out, they can just go stay at his house.
Starbucks stops customers using its own cups in bid to contain coronavirus. This just in from Elliott Management and Scott Galloway. Unless that cup was bought in Africa.
Oh,
Interesting.
He's just going to be on this all day.
Yeah.
P.S. Stop sneezing into your cup and dumping your sneeze particles into someone else's mouth. Just don't do that.
Airlines are burning thousands of gallons of fuel flying empty ghost planes so they can keep their flight slots during the coronavirus outbreak. Maybe these ghost planes can be used for quarantines. I don't know. I'm just spitballing. I'm no dumber than Trump. So you gotta come on, give me a break.
Airline deadheading. Airlines taking a page
That's
out
right.
of Uber.
Elon Musk says the coronavirus panic is dumb. Okay. I don't really have a joke there. Finally, Mark Zuckerberg and Bill Gates are stepping in on coronavirus testing where the government has failed. But wait, what exactly is the true failure here? Inadequate testing or billionaires? The article is not really clear about that.
Well, how about inadequate billionaires?
There you go. All right, moving on. In my bag of biz nuggets, my big bag. In Zuck we trust. It seems to happen every week. We have a lot of nuggets about Zuck, our favorite dictator. So Facebook's
We got to rank dictators next week.
That's true. Facebook's efforts to limit the spread of coronavirus misinformation are running into a problem. Facebook groups. Dozens of Facebook groups, totaling hundreds of thousands of members, have become a haven for conspiracy theories, medical equipment promotion, and unproven cures. So, in a nutshell, Matt, the real problem at Facebook is its users, people.
It always was.
Yeah, I know. Moving on, Facebook temporarily bans ads listings for medical face masks amid coronavirus outbreak. So I guess that makes sense because they'll just make shit up as they go along. Facebook will also take down political ads that include coronavirus misinformation. I guess this makes sense, even though you just said very proudly that your policy was to allow bullshit in your political ads. So I don't really get this one. Facebook refuses to ban fake Biden video that makes it look like he's endorsing Trump. Okay, so it's letting that one go because that's okay, right? That makes sense. It's all making sense to you, Matt?
This is about coronavirus First Amendment rights. Where's Peter Thiel
Okay.
when I need him?
Finally, Facebook is removing ads by President Trump that is basically a census misdirection campaign, which is sending out misinformation about the government census. So even though that one's a political ad, it's calling foul on that one. So what the hell is going on Facebook, Matt? Do you have any idea?
If I recut the video to show Biden endorsing Trump while saying coronavirus is a hoax perpetrated by Jewish artificial intelligence, which policy do you think that falls under? That's my question.
Well, yeah, and luckily we know who to ask it at Facebook, and that's Mark.
There's only one person.
Only one person. Let's move on to dystopia. MasterCard is pioneering new payment technology that identifies commuters by the way they walk. As we speak, despite what the camera tells you, I am practicing my Adam Newman walk. It's called rich white man failure walking. I figure if I walk like Adam Newman, I could afford the world, right? I could buy everything. MasterCard will think I'm rich.
Wait a second. MasterCard knows that I just bought a Segway scooter, right? So nice try, MasterCard. You can't figure out the way I walk.
In a company we talked about here called Clearview, there's a new
We
article
talk about a
Clearview.
lot of things. I'm confused
That's
all the
true.
time.
We talk about everything. Before Clearview became a police tool, it was a secret plaything of the rich. Investors and clients of the facial recognition startup freely use the app on dates and at parties and to spy on the public.
Ooh, it's like Face Mash for the 1%.
I don't know how I feel about this. I don't like this. I don't like.
It surprises me that you don't like something.
Elon Musk on planning for Mars. This is what he said, quote, "The city has to survive if the resupply ships stop coming from Earth. It will take 1,000 spaceships and 1 million tons of vitamin C to make life on Mars sustainable," says SpaceX CEO Elon Musk. "Otherwise, you're going to die slowly and painfully." All I can think about is when COVID-84 hits in 2067 and we're complaining of flying empty ghost spaceships. Oh, and also, this just in from Elliott Management and Scott Galloway.
Oh, come on.
Elon Musk is CEO at 2 different companies? So what? He wants to live on Mars? At least it's not Africa.
Here's the thing that I actually...
I'll be appearing at the Chuckle Hut in East Hartford tonight at 8:30.
My favorite line from Musk there is, it will take 1 million tons of vitamin C because lest you think we beat scurvy when pirates were roaming the earth, it's still a problem.
Finally, in dystopia, Amazon is secretly working on a cure for the common cold. And I ask you and our audience, why the hell does this have to be a secret?
Well, I'm secretly working on finding someone to buy ad space on this podcast. So we all have our secrets, Damien.
Why does that have to be a secret?
We all have our secrets.
All right. Moving on, Big Bag of Biz Nuggets. Let's go to our apology tour, where this week we're just going to talk about Boeing. This is what's in the news for Boeing. Boeing halts hiring, limits overtime to preserve cash. Stock falls most since 1974. A draft interim report from Ethiopian crash investigators circulated to U.S. government agencies concludes the March 2019 crash of a Boeing 737 MAX was caused by the plane's design.
Yikes.
House investigation finds Boeing's 737 MAX was marred by technical problems, lack of
Marred.
transparency, and the FAA tells Boeing that the 737 MAX wiring bundles are not compliant. And finally, the punchline to all this: the geniuses over at JP Morgan, the analysts have given up on their long-term overweight call on Boeing shares, cutting their price target for the company by $160 to just $210. So it took all that, Matt. It took all these many months for the JP Morgan geniuses to bail out on Boeing.
Are you saying new old CEO Dave Calhoun is not enough? That's my outrage voice.
Finally, in the apology tour, one more category, oops, called oops. Princess Cruises and Holland America Line announced this week that hackers gained access to personal information such as passport and social security numbers
Not
of
good for
guests,
Princess Cruises.
employees. All right, so Princess Cruises. I want to wrap up your last month or two, and then by giving you a new tagline. This is your new tagline, and we got to work this out because it's not so clever. But here you go. You can take this. We're all about giving at Princess Cruises. We give you coronavirus, and then we give out your personal information. All right, let's move on. I don't want to do that one. Let's move on to International Women's Day.
Ooh, yeah, it happened this week.
Yeah, some sobering news. International Women's Day, which I think we can all agree upon is a friggin' crock. They get one day out of 365, but
they should technically get
that.
exactly half of the 365 days, right?
I think it's actually 52%. I think aren't they like 52% of the population?
Congratulations, women, for settling.
One friggin' day in March. You know what? March
the armpit of the year.
The UN study. Oh god, this is depressing. Finds almost 90% of men and women are biased against women.
Finally, gender parity.
Oh, Facebook, which went public without any women on its board. Congratulations, Zuck, you idiot. Now has 40% women directors after adding the CFO of Estee Lauder and a former McKinsey exec. Of course, Facebook is still run by a dictator who went public without women, so who cares, right? I mean, does it really matter?
It does not. It does not.
According to a new report from the Center for Creative Leadership, despite ongoing efforts to improve gender equality in the workplace, still too few men recognize the extent of the problem. Here we go. Only 41% of men believe men and women experience unequal roles in the workplace. Just 44% of men agree there is a gender pay gap. And finally, only 32% of men believe women are hit on or harassed in the workplace as a result of their gender. So here's an easy solution for you, corporations. Why don't you educate your stupid men? Why don't you put up a poster or something?
That's it. You just put a poster up. Here's the one that I think is interesting. Yeah. There's two of them. 44% of men agree there's a gender pay gap.
I know.
I like that. Can you imagine that conversation? Like where a woman comes up to a man and says, I make 80 cents to your dollar. And they say, I don't agree that 80 is less than 100. Like, how does that conversation play out?
I think that's exactly how it plays out. All right. Goldman Sachs Asset Management, once again, it's tinkering with its policy. It said it will vote against nominating committees anywhere in the world now, right? So they've changed their policy. Anywhere in the world that fail to include at least one woman on the board. But really, I'm really kind of getting sick of you, Goldman. Stop your stupid victory tour on this. So basically, you're saying a board of 16 has to only have one woman. That's enough for a victory tour.
That's plenty.
A couple of weeks ago, the policy was only in Europe and in the United States, and they've broadened it to the world. So keep working at it, Goldman.
By 2040, we'll actually just say boards should include as many women as there are in the population.
Finally, just because I want to say it, and because, I don't know, maybe this is the only good thing that happened this week. Harvey Weinstein sentenced to 23 years in prison. So, F you, Harvey Weinstein. Finally, in my big bag of biz nuggets, this category is called No Fun for You.
Wah, wah, wah.
I'm going to read these without any snark. These are just things in the corporate world that aren't fun for anybody. JP Morgan says CEO Jamie Dimon is recuperating after emergency heart surgery. That's no fun.
That's like 6% fun.
Elon Musk says college is for fun and not for learning. echoing PayPal co-founder Peter Thiel. They both hate college.
That's like a tech bro hug.
Yeah, that's a big Zuck high five. Who of course dropped out of college. Dick's Sporting Goods is pulling guns from another 440 stores.
It's because everyone
Shares jump.
They were sneezing on their Starbucks cup and dumping it on their weapons.
Wow, it's quite a visual there, Matt. Two Republican senators introduced a bill aimed at banning federal employees from using Chinese social media app TikTok on their government-issued phones. That's no fun.
It is no fun. I actually looked at one of those Republican senators' Facebook pages where dictator for life Mark Zuckerberg has complete control and can decide what goes on it, what does not go on it, what you say, and who he sells that information to. And suffice it to say, TikTok is the problem.
Hey, Trump cronies, it's not too late to blame the coronavirus on TikTok. So why don't you work on that? Finally, my final biz nugget of the week in my no fun for you category. 46% of Walt Disney shareholders cast votes against the company's executive pay plan on Wednesday. So that's basically half of all shareholders. But unfortunately, the vote is advisory and is non-binding, so nobody gives a shit. So there you go. That's it. This is my big bag of biz nuggets. What do you got first, Matt?
Fake stat of the week time. The numbers are in. I actually went out and I estimated U.S. board fatality rates due to coronavirus. Now, this may seem like a morbid topic, but
it's topical.
This is topical. It's highly topical, and it does have a point because what I'm assuming is that every board member in the U.S. gets coronavirus, number one. And
from their butlers.
And that means none of them are hiding on like Elon Musk's hazmat yacht or orbiting Mars on Bezos's Blue Origin mobile or anything like that. So
here we go.
Some notes. Number one, U.S. board members are heavily skewed male, about 80% male. The male fatality rate for coronavirus currently is nearly double the female fatality rate.
Oh, boy.
So congratulations. If you have a gender diverse board, you'll actually have a board member or two left, potentially.
Another win.
When this is
another
over.
Win for women.
Also working in gender diverse boards' favor is age, because U.S. boards are old. The average age is about 60, but the average age for women on boards is in their 50s. So double win for gender diversity. And the virus is actually much worse the older you get. Here's the situation. Here's the stat. Male board members can expect a 4.5% fatality rate overall. Women board members, a 0.9% fatality rate.
Wow.
That means your corporate board has a fatality rate 33% worse than the overall public, because it's skewed so old and so male. And before we close out, I would like to take this opportunity to thank Goldman Sachs for boldly committing to vote at least one woman to every board, because it's super progressive to actually aim lower than the existing global average of women on boards. So if you need a reason, Goldman, if you need a reason to maybe think about, say, I don't know, representing the population of humanity with non-penis genitals on corporate boards, use coronavirus as your guiding light. That's my stat of the week.
I like it, man. That's an actually fascinating stat that no ESG data providers are going to pick up on.
That is definitely
because they're boring and
outside the ESG zeitgeist.
But hey, it's real. It's important. It's something. Come on.
So that's our show this week. I am Matt Moscardi. That was Damian Rollis. We are Free Float Media. Tomorrow, stay tuned. It is March Sadness.
March Sadness.
The March Sadness bracket is upon us. You can watch the games comfortably from home of March Madness with no fans, or you can you could participate from home in March Sadness, choosing the corporations that are going to lose the most. We will seed the companies and go over the game tomorrow, Friday. Today was Thursday, March 12th. Thanks to our executive producers, Courtney Cook and Courtney Rowe. Thank you to our senior advisor, Dan Rogachnik. Thank you to our music, which you did not hear on the live show, but you will hear on the podcast that will be coming to you from Todd Hovanek and the Asset Clowns. And thank you to John Walsh. He's our art department here. Anybody else to thank? I guess share, rate us, please subscribe. We need you more than ever because I have to pay for my coronavirus treatments.
Oh,
Anybody else?
no.
Then I'll see you tomorrow, Damien.
See you, Matt.